matter comes up also at the lower chamber. Lawmakers in the House of Representatives conclude that only an investigation will provide answers to the many questions over the Mena saga. This is after a passionate debate on the floor of the House.
Mr. Speaker, the House may recall that Mr. Abdurrashid Maina was appointed as chairman of Presidential Task Force in 2010 to check the complaint in the country's pension system by former President Goodluck Jonathan. Also recall that the Nigerian police accused him of mismanaging over 100 billion pension funds. Aware that the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, through its spokesman, Mr. Wilson Owujare, declared him wanted in 2015. Also aware, honorable colleagues, that the National Assembly invited Maina to appear before its committee, but it turned down the invitation on several occasions. Recall that he fled this country to the United Arab Emirates since 2013 to avoid arrest and prosecution. Also aware that he was formally sacked from his position as Assistant Director in the Ministry of Interior in 2013 by former President Goodluck Jonathan administration.
Just like they said, it's very easy for some of us here to just sit down and make wild allegations without substantiating it. This is a government that comes to stamp out corruption, and this is what this government is doing, day in, day out. The mere fact that this issue was squarely at
Mr. Karimi, Honorable Karimi, Kaita. What? He has point of order. In favor of the motion, say aye. Those against it, say nay. Ayes have it.
Another committee is to be set up to investigate the matter and recommend strong sanctions against those found culpable in the matter. The House also urges the EFCC to immediately arrest Maina for subsequent prosecution. The EFCC seals a shopping plaza and 4 other properties allegedly belonging to the fugitive Abdurrashid Maina in Kaduna State. Among the properties sealed by the Commission include a 2-story shopping plaza, a 1-story duplex along Katuru Road, and 4 bungalows with many flats and Kawo New Extension, all in Kaduna State. Head of the Public Affairs at Kaduna EFCC Zonal Office, Kamilu Kebi, speaks off camera, stating that the sealed properties are proceeds from corrupt practices. While the case of who recalled and reinstated Maina is yet unraveled, at a news conference, the family of the embattled former chairman of the Presidential Pension Reform Task Team forced the EFCC for sealing of properties belonging to him in Kaduna and Abuja on account of alleged corruption. They insist that the property are those he inherited from his father long before he joined the civil service. The family is convinced that Maina has done nothing wrong. Rather, he has brought radical reforms into Nigerian pension scheme that saw the end of massive corruption in the system. Aliyu Maina is the younger brother of the embattled Maina. He says his brother was brought back by the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration to help in realizing its change agenda, especially in the fight against corruption. He also claims that Maina's recent ordeal in the hands of the EFCC is a deliberate plot by a cabal to tarnish the good image of President Buhari and the Attorney General of the Federation.
The cabals have gone to the extent of making our houses in red paints with an inscription of EFCC under investigation. The entire family of Abdullahi Maina is hereby categorically stating that our son is not in any way a fraudster. Rather, he is a messiah who brought remarkable reforms into Nigerian pension scheme, whose effort saw the disappearance of pensioners roaming the streets of FCT and other state capitals in Nigeria. It is on record that Abdulrashid Maina's reform put to a stop the fraudulent withdrawal of huge sums of both the Nigerian Pension Board, the Nigerian Police Pension Board, etc. Perhaps it is his noble effort that made him enviable to this present administration when they came into power to convince him to come back and assist in his change agenda. We are aware that all this act of calumny is not targeted against Abdulrashid Maina alone, but against the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. All the same, we have contacted our lawyers, Muhammad Nasir and co., and instructed them to act appropriately. We equally know that Abdulrashid Maina is in possession of so many facts that is against the cabal, and interesting to the Nigerian populace, which he will disclose very soon. One must ask whether it is an offense for somebody to serve his fatherland faithfully with dedication and commitment.
The family describes the action of the EFCC as an infringement on the fundamental human rights of Maina, and however vows to challenge the action in court.
As you are aware, Abdulrashid Maina has an injunction restraining any security agency from ordering his arrest. That is number one. Number two, he also has a court order from the Federal High Court which calls for his reinstatement. So we don't know what actually happened and why the president took that decision to fire Abdulrashid Maina without necessarily looking at the civil service rules. There is a letter from the Attorney General where the Attorney General gave an opinion, his own legal opinion, regarding the court verdict calling for the reinstatement of Abdulrashid Maina, which was submitted to the Federal Civil Service Commission and the Head of Service respectively. They decided on whether or not Abdulrashid Maina should be reinstated, and they discovered that Abdulrashid Maina is in fact innocent of any allegation, and for that reason they reinstated him and deployed him to the Ministry of Interior as Deputy Director in charge of administration. So one would wonder, what actually happened, that all the various agents, the various ministries and individuals responsible are now denying that they did not actually bring Abdulrashid Maina, because certainly Abdulrashid Maina did not reinstate himself.
Honorable the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chairman.
This is a two-day capacity-building workshop for justices and judges organized by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the National Judicial Institute in Abuja. And the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, is part of it.
Forfeiture and money laundering for justices and judges.
In his speech, he calls for the reopening of a new page in the nation's anti-corruption fight in order to ensure its success. Professor Osinbajo says the administration is rejigging the entire anti-corruption system to ensure speedy dispensation of justice.
In working together, all of us in these institutions, the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, are mindful that by the very nature of systemic corruption, all institutions are affected one way or the other. But we must come together, and we are coming together as a patriotic gesture, as a patriotic thing, to rescue our nation from looming disaster. At the swearing-in of the last batch of senior advocates, His Lordship, the Chief Justice of the Federation, announced one of the most far-reaching plans by the judiciary to effectively and promptly try corruption cases. First, His Lordship directed all heads of courts in Nigeria to designate courts exclusively to hear and determine corruption and financial crime cases expeditiously. And secondly, the constitution of the Corruption and Financial Crimes Cases Monitoring Committee, headed by the Honorable Justice Salami. And deservedly, His Lordship was commended both locally and internationally. That plan is a crucial component of the anti-corruption agenda proposed by the executive.
The Vice President notes that a change in the attitude to investigations and trials of corruption cases will bring a lot of hope, as this is a fight for the soul of the nation. Professor Osinbajo did not only give the assurance of the executive support, but points out that most countries that have successfully fought corruption focused on the offense and not technicalities.
All nations that have successfully confronted corruption did one thing in common. The administration of justice system changed its attitude to the investigation and trial of corruption cases. And this is important. It is not just about the judiciary, clearly not. Investigations must be done properly. Investigations must be conducted properly, not on the pages of the newspapers, but they must be conducted properly and thoroughly before cases go to court. So that when cases go to court, what is presented is the best possible case that the prosecution can present. But most of the countries that have successfully dealt with corruption have had to dispense with the needless technicality and focused on the offense. In the case of public officers, they recognize that there can be no real explanation for a public officer whose pay is public knowledge to have cash and assets several times more than his earnings, let alone his savings. And the reason why people can never understand the way that cases are decided sometimes is because it goes contrary to common sense.